At former President Jimmy Carter's funeral, every single living former US president was there. Donald Trump was seated next to Barack Obama. Michelle Obama was not there because she was apparently in an extended vacation in Hawaii. Hawaii's a great state, who could blame her? But yeah, she couldn't make it. So Obama and Trump are sitting next to each other, and we get these pictures. You've probably seen them by now, but I'm going to put it in the thumbnail of Obama and Trump just yucking it up, smiles on their faces, laughing, kind of similar to those pictures of Trump with Biden after Trump won in November and decided to visit the White House. Yeah, the two of them just yucking it up. I would argue this Trump and Obama picture looks even more friendly, even more jovial. They're laughing together, they just look like buddies. And there's no inauthenticity to be seen there. This is a purely authentic photo. You can tell when a politician is inauthentic. You can look at a picture and be like, that looks awkward as heck. What on earth? This is inauthentic. You can tell when they post a video or something, or there's some exchange that they have, something in a speech, and it's like, whoa, that was awkward, that was inauthentic, that was scripted. And yet you've got these two guys, these two really charismatic guys sitting there, just looking like they're best buddies, as if all their history hadn't happened. Their history of being at each other's necks for both political and personal reasons. They have been at it for over a decade now. Obama roasting Trump at the 2011 White House Correspondents' Dinner. Trump saying that Obama was not born in the United States of America, peddling that birtherism very early on in Obama's presidential run. So, yeah, what on earth is going on here? Are these guys secretly buddies? It begs the question. Is everything that they do just theater? Are the rallies, the bashing each other, the trashing each other, Obama making jokes about Trump wearing diapers, Trump saying that Obama spied on him and talking about this Obamagate, basically saying Obama's a criminal similar to Richard Nixon, who of course was involved in Watergate. That's what coined the term gate, the word ending with gate, the crimes. So these two, by all accounts, seem to loathe each other, and yet they're sitting there yucking it up. And the reactions of people are very telling. So you have people on the left and people on the right trashing Obama for this. Neither of them trashing Trump. Neither side of the political aisle. It's interesting. It's a Trump wins no matter what scenario. So we've got Obama being trashed by people on the left saying, wow, this is all just a grift. They're quoting George Carlin saying, it's a big club and you ain't in it. Obama and Trump are part of the club. Obama's got tens of millions. Trump's a billionaire. They've both been president. They just yuck it up together. Obama knows he has nothing to lose under Trump's presidency. All sorts of other people do, people less wealthy than Obama, but Barack Obama doesn't have anything to lose. He and Michelle are doing just fine. They're making tons of money. They're set for life. They're just enjoying the post-presidency. And Trump, he might seem like a mean guy, but at the end of the day, he's part of the same club as Obama. They're former presidents, and one of them's about to be a president, so they're part of the same league. You've got people on the right, too, criticizing Obama, saying, oh, all this time he was calling Trump a fascist Nazi, and this just shows that he's such a liar. He knows that he's wrong. He knows that he's full of crap by hanging out and yucking it up with Donald Trump. He's just lying to his base, and he's just trying to rile people up to get them to vote for Harris. And first of all, Obama, to my knowledge, has never called Trump a fascist or a Nazi. Certainly not a Nazi. I have not seen any clips of him calling him a fascist. But yeah, both the right and the left ganging up on Obama, not talking about Trump whatsoever. And I think this speaks to the low expectations that everyone has for Trump. So I agree with some of the criticisms of Obama, by the way. So I'm just thinking about if I were in Obama's position, and I had a president like Trump who was accusing me of not having been born in America, who tried to repeal my signature piece of legislation, which helped people with pre-existing conditions, expanded Medicaid, quite literally saved lives and improved many others, allowed people under 26 to stay on their parents' insurance plans. Oh, Trump's just saying, oh, I got to get rid of that. I don't like it. It's socialism. This is really bad. I'm going to repeal and replace it. That guy, how would I feel about that guy? How would I feel about that guy who said, oh yeah, you spied on me. You're a criminal like Richard Nixon was. You're the worst president in history. He called him that before Joe Biden became president. He absolutely trashed him. Not born in the US, socialist, Marxist. It was insane. Yeah. So why would I want to yuck it up with that guy? Why? Would I feel comfortable, being friendly with someone who's trashed me so heavily? I'd look them in the eyes. Now, I'd want them to apologize, honestly. Apologize. Of course, I could also know that everything that they've said is just complete and utter theater. That it's all just to rile up their base. And that's definitely a possibility. It's possible Obama understands that. Trump, on the other hand, might just understand that Obama goes after him for theater. But either way, we have to understand that this is not a good look for either of these men. But for some reason, both the left and the right are focused on bashing Obama. They're saying, well, he's a grifter. Look, grifting is kind of a part of being a politician. It just is. You just sometimes say stuff that you aren't fully committed to. You're not putting your heart into it. But you got to say what you got to say to make the base happy. So if that means calling Donald Trump an existential threat, a fascist, a Nazi for your base, which Democrats haven't called him a Nazi, to be clear, but so be it. Rile up your base. Donald Trump, on the other hand, he's got so many things that he says just to rile up his base. And his criticisms of Obama are just part of that. The birtherism thing, he wasn't even running for president back when he was doing the birtherism thing, so I really don't know what he was trying to gain from that. Just expressing his hatred for the guy. And that would make me, if I were Obama, very hesitant to be friendly with this guy. There was that picture of them back after Trump won in 2016 where they looked very unfriendly with each other. And ironically, Trump was a lot more sane back then. He was still a disaster. He was still divisive and unhinged, but he was a lot more realistic. He hadn't done January 6th. He hadn't called his political opponents vermin. He hadn't called rhino Republicans the scum of the earth. He hadn't talked about using the military against the enemy from within. So by all measures, he was vastly more sanitized compared to the 2024 Donald Trump, the 2025 Donald Trump now, I should say. And yet now is the time to yuck it up with him. Now when he's worse than ever, more disastrous than ever, more divisive than ever, and he's going to be taking office? Like what? Is Obama just afraid he's going to get prosecuted if he doesn't stay in Trump's good graces? What is going on here? So yeah, I agree with a lot of the criticism against Obama. I just think it's telling that it's not levied against Trump. Also, there's another huge point here, and to those of you who say, well, Trump supporters aren't in a cult, here's a piece of evidence for you. This is a piece of evidence in favor of the idea that Trump supporters are in a cult. Do you remember when Chris Christie hugged Obama in 2012 and how the Republican base was outraged against him? Here's Donald Trump yucking it up with him. And where's that outrage? It's not there. Trump supporters aren't mad at him. They're not throwing temper tantrums. They're not saying, you're a grifter. I can't believe it. He actually loves the establishment. He's not anti-establishment. He's not a populist. What's going on here? I feel so betrayed. I regret my vote. There's no candidate who truly represents my values. None of that. Crickets. They're just attacking Obama. They're not attacking Trump. And you know what? It's fine to attack Obama, but you got to realize, hey, maybe your boy is lying to you too. Maybe your boy is a grifter as well. But no. They refuse to admit that he might be full of crap just like Obama. And that is a sign that they're in a cult. Leftists generally are not in a cult. They don't worship any individual politician. They worship policies and principles. And I'm using the word worship very liberally, no pun intended. But yeah, they're very strongly in pursuit of policies like Medicare for all, non-interventionist foreign policy, free college, anti-corruption, strong legislation to fight against climate change. And they look at Obama and they feel like he didn't go far enough in that regard. People on the right, Trump could come out there and say, I support Medicare for all. I support taxes on the wealthy of 99%. And these people would say, oh, great, awesome. He could go out and say, oh, I'm going to support war with China, war with Iran, war with Mexico, war with Saudi Arabia. And they'd be all like, cool, yeah, you know what? Being anti-war is actually a bad thing. neoconservatism is great when Donald Trump does it. So yeah, this is another piece of evidence supporting the idea that a good number of Trump supporters are unfortunately in a cult. And cross our fingers that when Trump's time in office is done, that they can the fever will break. They'll stop worshiping politicians. They won't look for a new politician to worship. And they'll just say, hey, I'm going to vote for whoever is going to help this country the most. Not just the guy who makes me feel good and the guy who I want to worship. But that's just my takeaway. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think that Barry and Donald are besties for the resties? Do you think they're best friends? Do you think that the Democratic and Republican parties are all just charades and that this is just political theater when they go after each other and they all love each other very much and get cocktails together? Let me know what you think. As always, please like, comment, or subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you in my next video.